Primary rivals take the stage to support former President Donald Trump. I'm Natalie Brandt with their message, plus highlights from night 2 of the RNC.
Plus, a bookstore in Joplin helps residents cool down. And Wildcat Glades invites the public out for a creek crawl.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Day 2 of the Republican National Convention wraps up in Milwaukee. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The theme of the night was crime and safety. Some big-name Trump allies who were once his political rivals took the stage tonight. Natalie Brand reports from the convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
On the second night of the Republican National Convention, former President Trump's one-time rivals are rallying around him as he prepares to carry the party's mantle into the November election. Former President Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, returned to the convention floor Tuesday night, a day after receiving their party's nomination. Nikki Haley, who is Trump's longest-lasting challenger during the primary season, spoke Tuesday night. The former UN ambassador was added to the lineup following Saturday's assassination attempt. During the campaign, she had called Trump unfit for office. Tonight, she called for unity.
I'm here tonight because we have a country to save. And a unified Republican Party is essential for saving her.
Also set to take the podium, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who opposed Trump in 2016, but is now a staunch ally and was even on his short list for VP.
The theme of day 2 here at the convention is safety. Among the speakers, a mom who lost her son to fentanyl-laced pills.
I had those conversations with him, and fentanyl still found my son. And on February 27th, 2022, our lives were shattered, and our baby was gone.
Florida delegate Rebecca Harari says for her, getting tougher on crime is a priority.
Where would we be without a safe country? And obviously the way we are right now is exactly that answer.
What would you like to see change?
We need more police. We need to refund the police.
Tuesday's program also focused on border security. The Republican Party platform adopted at the convention calls for what it describes as the largest deportation program in American history. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The Trump campaign announced former President Trump and Vance will hold their first rally together Saturday evening in the battleground state of Michigan. It'll be Trump's first rally since his Saturday shooting in Pennsylvania shocked the nation. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures have started to cool down, upper 70s out in Joplin, and it's still clear. Rain's holding off at least until about 2 a.m. That's when we're starting to see those storms fire up just south of Joplin, south of the I-44. Now, temperatures across the region still a little bit warmer in some areas. 81 in Welsh, Oswego, Nowata, Miami, 82 in Independence, 79 out in Joplin, Neosho. And like I said, we had a few showers already passing by earlier this afternoon, but we cleared out. We're waiting on a few more storms to pop up. We're going to have a cold front moving through later on this evening into the overnight hours and even all the way through early morning hours on Wednesday. Threats are limited, but we do still expect to see a few flooding threats and wind damage as well. I'll have more details in just a bit.
See you soon. Southeast Kansas law officers are investigating a shooting incident that put 2 victims in the hospital. Happened in Independence on the 400 block of West Locust Street last night. 2 victims had arrived at different nearby hospitals in private vehicles. Law officers say both victims were involved in the same incident and that the situation was aimed at specific individuals. But investigators are not yet giving further details of what happened or the conditions of the victims. Authorities are asking for people in that area to check their security cameras for evidence. Southwest Missouri authorities are investigating the drowning of a child. A 4-year-old girl was found unconscious in a home swimming pool in Marionville, Missouri last night. First responders tried to revive her at the scene, but the girl was later pronounced dead at the hospital in Aurora. The police department says there is no indication of wrongdoing and the death appears to be a tragic accident. Abortion rights advocates in Arkansas are suing the state for rejecting petitions for a ballot measure to scale back the state's ban on the procedure. Arkansans for Limited Government is asking the state Supreme Court to reverse a decision by Secretary of State John Thurston not to count signatures submitted by their petitions. Thurston's office says the group didn't submit required documents related to the paid signature gatherers it used, but the group says it did. The petitions aim to add a constitutional amendment question to the ballot. It would prohibit laws banning abortion in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy and adding exceptions for later terms. The Always Buying Books bookstore in Joplin is helping people stay cool during these high temperatures. They're giving out water and cooling towels for people to take and distribute to others. They have 90 towels to distribute, and they say they want to help people avoid the danger that can come from being in the hot sun with no shelter.
With the heat, we see people out on the streets. We saw a need, and we've looking online, we found these towels, and we thought that'd just be perfect.
You can also find a list of area cooling centers on our website. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. Naturalists at Wildcat Glades in Joplin took visitors about knee-deep into the waters of Shoal and Silver Creeks today. Visitors had a chance to learn about the life cycles of snails, worms, and crayfish living in the creeks.
Those little tiny macroinvertebrates, which basically just look like little bugs that live in the rocks and under the leaf litter and logs that exist in the creek. These tiny little invertebrates that are in there may seem insignificant being so small, but they really are a huge indicator of the health of our water.
Joplin Parks and Recreation, the Missouri Department of Conservation, and Wildcat Glades Nature Group teamed up to make that event possible. Athletes from the Southeast Kansas Special Olympics take to the lanes for a shot at a state competition. That's coming up. But up first, Southwest Missouri sees a rise in the presence of Lone Star ticks. The Ozarks is home to many animals, birds, insects, but one critter in particular is in the spotlight, and not for a good reason. The Lone Star tick. Adam Woodbury has what to watch out for and what to do if you get bitten.
Whether it's out on a trail or even just your own backyard, critters are all around us. And if you aren't careful, one could follow you home unnoticed.
Of course, we're not going to discourage anybody from being outdoors and playing outside, but we certainly just want to keep your eyes peeled.
You don't only have to watch out while outside, but after you return indoors.
After you're outdoors, you want to make sure when you come inside and do kind of a tick check.
One tick in particular to check for is the Lone Star tick. Named for its notable white spot on its back, is all across Missouri. And according to the CDC, it's very aggressive, and for many, bites that go undetected can cause what's called alpha-gal syndrome, which is an allergy to red meat and or dairy.
The alpha-gal business is concerning.
Southern Missouri has been shown to have the highest number of cases of alpha-gal syndrome. Dr. Jennifer Freeman says she's treated a number of patients for the syndrome over the years.
But it seems like it is becoming more common. And then you wonder, is that because there's more ticks, more tick bites?
According to the CDC, between 2010 and 2022, more than 110,000 cases were reported. And for those infected, Dr. Freeman says it can be serious or even life-threatening.
And they could trace it back to a tick bite having to do with one of the metabolism aspects of our system with meat as well as any other kind of mammal product.
To protect yourself, don't forget to wear bug repellent with DEET. Whether you're out on a trail or even in your own backyard, wear long clothing, pull your socks up around the bottom of your pants. And if you find a tick when you get back inside,
I wouldn't be alarmed right away. We're just going to follow the healthy habits of washing with soap and water. When you do your bath or your shower, just a sponge bath, and wash it off, you can usually find the tick, and then we can remove them.
and be sure to get the tick removed quickly. You'll have a much lower chance of contracting any bacteria. And if you do get bit and you start to feel not well, or you get a rash or a fever, the best place to go next is speaking to your doctor.
We have more information on tick prevention on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just search ticks. Ultra-processed food made up almost 2/3 of the calorie intake of young people in the UK between 2008 and 2019. That's according to new research published in the European Journal of Nutrition. Consumption of ultra-processed foods, which contain high amounts of sugar and salt, was highest among those from lower income backgrounds, those of white ethnicity, and younger adolescents. New study shows healthcare affordability in the U.S. might be headed in the wrong direction. The West Health Gallup Healthcare Affordability Index finds only about 55% of Americans can afford and access prescription drugs and quality health care. That's down 6% since 2022. The downturn largely affects two age groups, those between 50 and 64 and seniors over the age of 65. A new study published in the journal BMJ Public Health is highlighting the benefits of biking or walking to work. Researchers found active commuting is associated with lower risks of death and mental and physical ill health compared with inactive commuting. The greatest benefits were seen in cyclists, who had about a 47% lower risk of death from any cause. Special Olympics bowlers in Southeast Kansas aimed for a chance to compete at the state level. More than 270 adult bowlers competed in the Southeast Regional Bowling Tournament today at Holiday Lanes in Pittsburgh. It's a chance for athletes with developmental and intellectual disabilities to not only compete, but to come together as a community. And the volunteers have almost as much fun as the athletes.
The main goal today, I feel like, is to celebrate inclusion. We like to do it where the community is all involved, so it's really a community aspect. But having the inclusion between the volunteers and the bowlers, and they see friends. This might be the only time they see their friends every year.
The state bowling event will be held August 9th and 10th in Olathe, Kansas. A little bit later, the Girard Public Library celebrates some standout readers.
And storms are still pushing through tonight. We'll talk about it right after the break. Finally getting a relief from the heat. We've got storms moving in tonight, but we'll go ahead, take a look at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Still dry right now. Storms are holding off, which ends up being a good thing. So we're not seeing such a high threat. If storms fired up right now in our area, we would see more severe thunderstorm warnings and probably worse threats than what we're going to see in the morning hours. This isn't going to be excluding all the threats, but when we have storms in the morning time, we do see a drop in instability. So atmosphere becomes a little bit more stable. Still going to be storms, but they won't be as severe as if they fired up right now. They're holding off till about 2 a.m. and even a little bit later after. And then, unfortunately, because they're moving in later on this evening, that just means that they're going to be dealing with some rainy conditions early in the morning on Wednesday. So if you're getting ready to go to work or got any early morning activities, you might need to bring an umbrella because storms are going to be sticking around until about 10 a.m. Now, luckily, our risk was shifted. Now we're just in a marginal risk for all of our counties. Slight risk is east of our area, Branson, and even east of Springfield. So they're getting a lot of bad storms out in Arkansas right now, but we're looking pretty good, at least until early morning on Wednesday. We've got a low hail threat and a low wind threat as well. Winds could still gust up to 60 miles per hour with some of these storms that pop up. But outside of that, main threat is also going to be localized flooding with some of these storms staying over the same area and the same southern counties for quite some time. So we got about 12:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Nice isolated thunderstorm pops up near Bartlesville, moves into the area. Again, more of our southern counties, south of Pittsburgh, south of Parsons, moving into Joplin. So this is about 2:30 in the morning, a little bit more widespread thunderstorms. And again, some could still be strong to low and severe. I'm not trying to rule that out. It just may not be as bad as if they moved in right now. We go and we see a little bit more calmer storms as we move into about 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday. More widespread heavy rainfall instead of isolated thunderstorms that could have hail or wind gusts. But again, localized flooding is still going to be a main threat south of I-44. Then we move into the early morning hours, 10 a.m. That's when finally the main bulk of storms move out. We still do have a few showers and isolated showers and possible thunderstorms sticking around through most of the day on Wednesday. Very isolated, so you may not even see any rain. It may stay dry after all these storms move out. Northern counties aren't really seeing much in the way of rainfall at all with any of these storms. Again, south of Joplin, going to get those storms starting about 2 a.m. Then temperatures drop nearly 15 degrees. Our overnight lows all week long are going to be in the mid 60s range. It's going to be cooler nights, nicer days, not as humid, not as muggy either. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, clearing out. Unfortunately, storms return Saturday night all through Tuesday, which isn't a bad thing. We're not expecting a major severe threat with those storms either. So rain is always welcome.
Yeah, certainly in July, we generally need more than we get.
And I'm loving these temperatures, mid 80s all through the week. It's going to be a nice break.
I'm with you on that for sure. Thanks, Lindsay. Hey, don't forget you can be the first to know about today's weather with KOIM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. It's absolutely free. You'll find it in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOIM Skywatch weather app. This video shared by the St. Louis Fire Department shows rainwater pouring into the basement of Engine House 29 in St. Louis as heavy rain hit that portion of the state today. The National Weather Service warned flooding was ongoing in many locations in the St. Louis area and said the risk for flash flooding would last into tonight. Still ahead, McDonald County High School announces its first Athletics Hall of Fame class. And 2 Missouri Southern softball coaches get new positions at the Division I level. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
McDonald County High School announces today it will launch an Athletics Hall of Fame, which honors the pioneers of the Mustang sports program's history. The inaugural class of inductees will be added to the Hall of Fame this coming fall. The 2024 Hall of Fame class features Sue Thomas Buttram, Charles Harvey, LaDonna Wilson McLean, Bruce Stansell, and Susan Nyander Sutton, along with the 1981 and 83 women's basketball teams, women's basketball coach Jerry Davis, men's basketball coach Jack Shaver, and contributor Rick Peck. McDonald County Athletic Director Bo Bergen says in a press release, quote, "We are thrilled to have the opportunity to honor those who have made significant contributions to McDonald County athletics and have left a lasting legacy for future generations." Now, the induction ceremony will be on September 21st. The night after, inductees are honored at halftime of the Mustang football game against Nevada. Switching gears to college softball, former Missouri Southern assistant coaches Cody Barham and Josie Topai both joined the staff at University of Missouri Kansas City. Now, Barham was with Southern for the past 4 years. Topai coached her first season in 2024 after spending 5 years in a Lion uniform as a player. Last month, MSSU announced the addition of Lexi Kennard to its coaching staff to preemptively fill this vacancy. Now, coinciding with the All-Star game, today marks the final day of the 2024 MLB Draft. Rounds 11 through 20 take place early this afternoon. The Royals drafted a ton of pitchers in the first 2 days. That doesn't change here in day 3. Kansas City selects 7 pitchers today, bringing its total to 15 out of the 20 prospects drafted by them this year. They picked 2 left-handers from Mississippi State, Tyler Davis, who led the team in saves this year, and Dane Burns, whose fastball has clocked in at 97 miles per hour while pitching in the New England Collegiate League this summer. Cardinals have much more of a variety in their draftees. Day 3, they select 5 position players and 5 pitchers. Redbirds' first selection of the day is shortstop John Gazdar, who has dominated the A-Sun Conference while playing for Austin Peay. In 2023, he batted .308, then improved his average to .405 with 13 home runs and 55 RBIs this past season. Another notable selection, Daniel Ortiz, hit .387 in 2 years playing at the junior college level at Walters State in Tennessee. Now, like I just mentioned, this evening also the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, a contest the National League won a year ago, but the American League had won the previous 9. Tonight, the American League returns to its dominant ways. The AL All-Stars win the Midsummer Classic 5-3. Shohei Ohtani opened the scoring in the third inning with a 3-run homer for the NL. American League tied the game at 3 later that inning. Jarren Duran has the game-winning hit with a 2-run homer in the 5th. Seems weird. 10 out of 11 years now, of the last 11 years, the American League has won the All-Star game.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it would be that way. You'd think it would be a little closer to 50-50, but things kind of come and go in cycles. We'll see what happens in the coming 10 or 11 years. We'll be right back. The Girard Public Library closes the chapter on another edition of its Summer Reading Awards. The 6-week event began in June, and today the library celebrated the top readers and participants in 3 programs: adult, young adult, and children.
I read Alice in Wonderland. I also read The Wizard of Oz.
One of the favorites I know of the children is called The Book with No Pictures. So that gets me saying silly things and singing funny songs that gets the kids to laugh.
The celebration concluded with an appearance from the Girard Fire Department. You saw the water there, also snow cones. So how about that? It's a good day for both of those, water and snow cones. It was hot, but it's getting cooler out there.
Yeah, we got storms moving in tonight, still going to make their way through the area, although south of Joplin, closer to 2 a.m. After that, we got a nice long stretch of mid-80-degree temperatures.
Welcome that final sports note.
We got more summer baseball in the 4 states tomorrow. The Joplin Outlaws and the Nevada Griffins both play doubleheader, so 4 games between the 2 of them.
Wow, looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.
Captioning on KO.